Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share something very personal, my menopause story. It's not a neat, tidy version. It's my real version, the trial and error, the frustration, ultimately finding something that finally worked for me. Because if you're going through the menopause, not only but especially the surgical menopause, you should know one very important thing. There's no one size fits all solution. And sometimes finding what works takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. I'm 51 now, but my menopause journey actually started in my 40s. I'd been experiencing recurrent pain in my ovaries caused by cysts. These cysts just kept reoccurring and were causing me so much pain and impacting on my daily life. After several episodes and discussions with my doctors, they made the decision to remove my cysts. I wasn't too worried, if I'm honest. I've already got 2 children. Um, it wasn't a thing for me. I thought, well, I don't need them anymore. So I thought, great, be pain free. What I didn't fully appreciate at the time is that I would go into menopause, which I understood. I'm a nurse. I just didn't really think through what that would mean on my day-to-day experiences of life. Obviously, the ovaries are the body's main hormone producers before the menopause. So as soon as they're removed, your hormone levels suddenly drop and it's like night and day. So this is why it's called the surgical menopause. And it's very different from the natural menopause that goes gradually, which can be a frustration in itself because it's not a natural decline. Sometimes it's fluctuating. I'll never forget the morning I woke up after I'd had my ovaries removed, and it felt like I was in a swimming pool. I was just soaking wet with sweat. So I went from a normal woman in her 40s to producing hormones at a normal level. I hadn't gone into any kind of decline yet, to immediately waking up really hot and sweaty. And it was quite a shock, actually. I didn't think it would be so sudden. And that's quite challenging in itself. So my sleep was immediately impacted. And the first thing they tried with me was the combined patch, which the doctor put on right away. That sudden drop in estrogen can trigger classic menopause symptoms immediately. Hot flushes, night sweats, sleep disruption. Oh my God, brain fog, totally brain fog, not being able to remember or not even remember, link brain to mouth. You know who you're speaking to, you know that person well, but their name won't come out of your mouth. It's embarrassing. It's frustrating, especially as you're probably like me at this point in your 40s and 50s. You're at a point in your life where you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing at work. You're the go-to person for stuff. And suddenly becoming that person that can't string a sentence together, can't remember certain words, is a little bit more irritable. Your tolerance for not quite good enough or fine, yeah, it's not great. It can affect your mood. It can affect your sex drive. It is frustrating is an understatement. It's like you're in somebody else's body and you've got to relearn what affects you. I guess the steps then became for me finding the right HRT. HRT basically just means hormone replacement therapy. And it works by replacing some of the hormones that the ovaries would normally produce to keep the menopause symptoms at bay and help with your long-term problems that you may have after menopause, such as bone density. My dog's driving me mad here, and heart health. Hey, hey, I'm trying to make another thing I suppose I wasn't fully aware of. Like I say, I'm a nurse, but I've never worked in this kind of medicine or this kind of field, so it's all new to me. And when you're young and you're doing your nurse training, you never think about the menopause because you never think you're going to get old. So I kind of thought, well, there'll be a HRT for me and I can just tick a box and take the meds and that'll be it. But it's not. It's juggling different things to find what works for you. So as I mentioned earlier, my first approach was a patch that the doctor who did my surgery recommended. It was an estrogen and progesterone patch. So estrogen replaces the hormone after the menopause, and progesterone protects the lining of the womb. So if you still have a uterus, progesterone is essential because the estrogen alone can cause some womb lining thickness and lead to things like endometrial cancer. But for me, the combined patch I still had like breakthrough bleeding. And I can remember thinking, what's the point? The only benefit in my head at that point of menopause was the fact that I didn't have to worry about periods anymore. And this was worse because I never knew when it was going to happen. So I felt kind of frustrated. I was still getting a few aches and pains post surgery, so I wasn't fully pain free either. So I was just frustrated, which is a word I probably use relating to the menopause more than any other word. My second attempt was a go at estrogen gel and progesterone tablets, um, which I thought at first was really good. The estrogen gel is absorbed through the skin. It allows the dose to be adjusted more easily, which can help tailor the treatment to the person. So I originally started with 2 squirts, if you like. Now, this is the estrogen gel I still use now, although my regimen is different, and it comes out as a clear gel. I'm not going to rub this in because I've actually had this already today. But you tend to be advised to put it on either your inner arms here or your inner thighs. And I tend to always put it on my inner thighs. So I'm just going to put that over there out the way. You can't rub up against another person as well. So you don't want to put it all on because, especially if you use more than 2 pumps, it's going to be a little bit wet for a little while. So you've got to stay away from other people because otherwise they could absorb the hormone. So yeah, you don't want to have an effect on anybody else in your family. So I started with the estrogen gel and the progesterone tablets. The progesterone tablets do actually have a side effect of making you a bit drowsy. I had a really great nurse halfway through that suggested to me just flip them and take them at night because then you're getting the benefit of being a little bit drowsy. Because as you all probably know who are going through this menopause, sleep is a nightmare. And just being able to sleep makes your life so much easier, and it's something you've probably taken for granted for years. So I started taking them at night and I felt quite a lot better. Unfortunately, I still had some menopause symptoms. One of the main symptoms I still had was brain fog. Obviously, not being able to get names right, etc., etc. Sleep problems and night sweats were, although much, much better than they were in the beginning, they just hadn't gone away. And I guess I'm the kind of person that if it's a problem, why not fix it? Why tolerate something that's just not good enough? I want to live the best life I can, be the best version of myself I can. So I didn't want to give up there. I wanted to keep persevering. Another thing that was still happening is I still had extreme fatigue. I was getting really tired. The tiredness, you run a race and you're exhausted and you accept you're tired. If you don't run a race and you're the same amount of exhausted, it just doesn't make sense. So I was just constantly exhausted, but not being able to exercise because I felt too tired to exercise, not being able to sleep very well, etc., etc. So it just snowballs. You just feel exhausted. Don't know whether it's the exhaustion or the other hormones that you lose when you have your ovaries removed, but my sex drive went from being quite active in my 40s to plummeting very, very quickly. Obviously, that's nothing you want, and I wasn't prepared to give up on that part of my life. My husband definitely was not prepared for me to give up on that part of my life. So I went to see a specialist. I did a lot of my own research. There's not a lot of people out there that talk about menopause, but there's starting to be more. So I also did a lot of reading on people's personal experience. Um, and I decided to ask for testosterone therapy. When I saw the consultant, and this is not the consultant who did my operation, but one I saw privately, he obviously wasn't very experienced in the menopause. And what I would recommend if anybody's going to do this, pick somebody that is, because not all gynae consultants are that au fait with the menopause and how to treat it. My parents didn't talk about it. It wasn't something that was really touched on in nursing school. I'm assuming it's the same with doctors as well. But when I asked for testosterone, he made a joke about thinking that it would make you more masculine, and made the joke was something along the lines of he had a lady in before and he'd be more worried about her attacking her husband if he gave her testosterone. Adding testosterone can sometimes help with libido, energy, motivation, and mental clarity. For me, it did actually make a difference. It improved my sex drive slightly, but it made everything clearer. I felt more like myself and I had more energy again. So it was one positive change that I really do think helped. Now, when I say testosterone, these are the tiny little pouches I have. And it's a little gel. And this one is 40.5 milligrams of gel. And this will probably last me a week. And I mean, probably about 2 weeks. I use the tiniest drop of this because there's a lot of research still going on testosterone out there. So different people have different opinions. That's what works for me. But you'd obviously have to contact a medical professional, and I would say a menopause specialist before you start on anything like that. Unfortunately, about a year after starting those two, when I was probably quite settled, the bleeding returned. Obviously, wasn't happy with that. So I went back to the doctors. They did all of the checks. They were very thorough. Couldn't find anything wrong with me, which was great news. And they suggested I tried the Mirena coil. This is a hormone releasing coil placed in the womb. So same as when you go for a smear, it's uncomfortable. It's not pleasant. However, after 2 attempts, they just couldn't insert it, so we had to abandon the plan. They did give me the option of going under general anaesthetic to have it done, and I just thought, well, if it's that painful to have it put in for me, it's not going to be comfortable, so I just thought, not for me. So I persevered for a bit longer, but then finally, on going back to my consultant, we decided the safest thing and the best thing for me longer term would be to remove my womb, in which case I could have more of the gel and I wouldn't have to worry about the progesterone element. So I wouldn't need to take the tablets on the evening, and I wouldn't have the same worry of womb cancer or endometrial cancer. So I have been on the gels, if you like, if I call them the gels, for I would say now over a year. And I've felt probably the most settled and most like myself that I've ever felt. It's not perfect. I still occasionally have a night where I'm just too hot and can't cool down. So you have to do practical things as well, like crisp sheets rather than the bed toppers, which are we've got a gorgeous bed topper. It's about that thick. It's super comfortable, but it's too hot. Having the window open, even in winter, which drives your husband mad or your partner mad. You just need air. It helps you sleep better. Developing healthier sleep routines, etc., etc. I'll go into some of the things I do later on. But today I just wanted to focus on the products that I use, prescription products that I use, what's worked for me, and what you can probably try for yourself. But I would say do the reading, research what other people have done. What will work for you is probably not what worked for me. You might be able to get on really well with the combined patch. I know a lot of my friends have. The good thing also is a lot of my friends are just going into perimenopause now, and we can chat openly about it because they observed what I went through, which is really nice. And I think that's one thing we all need to start doing more, supporting one another as women and being open about this. There's nothing to be embarrassed about going through the menopause. We don't die in our 50s. I plan to live a very long and healthy life and enjoy it. So I want to be the best version of myself I can be. So there's one thing I'd like you to take away from this video if you've watched it all the way to here and you've found it interesting, don't give up on finding what's right for you. There are so many different treatment options. If you can afford it, definitely go to a menopause specialist. I definitely think it's the best thing I did. With the right support, you can absolutely start to feel like yourself again. Because menopause isn't the end of anything, it's just the beginning of a new phase in life. If you found this helpful and you're going through something similar, I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below. I'll get back to every single comment. Because the more that we talk about the menopause, the less women have to go through feeling alone.